Nanan Ketinimita. I'm from the International Relations program, and my program is the JPS Fellowship to South Korea. I studied at Duksung Women University in Seoul.
Oh, smash. Ok. Ciao a tutti, sono Dennis. Qua a UNPAR studio relazioni internazionali come le due e facevo parte all'ISMA, al programma di ISMA, e studiavo a Roma.
Eden? Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Ellen and I'm also from International Relations. And the program. My program was also IISMA and I went to University of Galway in Ireland.
I think the first part of my story is that I didn't get the IISMA scholarship one. So Mbak Frames, our former Kaprodi, emailed me about the new program from UNPAR, and she offered me if I would like to apply. And it turns out it's for the Duksung Women University program. So that's how I know.
Honestly, some random friend told me about the ISMA program. And as I remembered it, I joined it haphazardly and somehow got chosen for it. So yeah, I guess thanks be to God, because I didn't plan anything whatsoever.
For myself, I knew IISMA from International Office UNPAR. They had a forum for the socialization, I think, and I think I knew it from there.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to the question about the case.
Okay, the question was, what do I feel? I mean, when I first came, I was like quite nervous actually, because it was my first time going alone abroad, and it's going to be quite a long time. And truthfully, I didn't really know or close to the friends from UNPAR that went to South Korea, so I was quite nervous about that. But then, I don't know, I think it starts to get better once you adapt it to South Korea. Yeah.
Me? When I first got into Italy, I was pretty surprised at first because I visited Italy before. I have visited Italy before, but turned out actually it was rather different than the Italy that I once visited. This time you visit to live there, right? To study there, and it just has like this different feeling of something that you don't just go there as a tourist, but you go there as a student who is living there, who is going to partake in the life and the activity of my university, my host country in the city called Rome. And it's quite shocking actually. I got a lot of culture shocks, but like Kathleen did, I somehow managed to overcome those. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, from the start.
My first impression, is that your question? My very first impression was that it's not actually that cold, because I thought it would be that cold. But then when I stepped off the airplane and went out, it's actually not that cold. And how I feel, it was very exciting in the beginning, and it was exciting the whole journey throughout. But in the first, I felt like, I feel like a new chapter of my life is beginning, and like there was just so much things to explore.
Well, of course, if you want to talk about the Italians, you gotta talk about the food. But actually, it's not about the food that I was concerned. It was actually the customs and the attitudes of not just Italians and Romans in general, but Europeans, other Europeans like Spanish, Portuguese, and even Germans. So the culture shock that I still found it to be like rather weird is about manners and how Europeans interact with other people generally, because if you were to compare it here than in Rome or other Western countries, it would be like the difference would be like heaven and earth. Because I remember at one time when I visited my relatives of an Italian family. Yes, I do have Italian relatives, so it's kind of a flex. So they are an Indonesian Italian family, right? So they have like an Indonesian grandma with siblings and other relatives, Italian relatives. So basically they are Indonesian Italian, right? But they grew up, they lived almost their entire life in Italy. So when I decided to visit them with my Indonesianness, with my Indonesian culture, I was shocked because they are very open. The Italians are very open, and they do not like any, hypocrisy, you could say. Yeah, not about the eating, but about more like how would you interact with people. So I would just go to the examples, right? So I got this one example when my grandmother, my Italian grandmother, gave me something to eat. He gave me something to eat, and I said no, because if somebody offers you something in Indonesia, you would first, what you have to do is you have to refuse first, because if you would receive it, if you would just accept it right off the bat, it would be rude. But turns out I did that, and eventually I accepted it right after coming back to and fro. Like, no, thank you. No, I'll give you. No, thank you. And then at the end, like any Indonesians would do, I'll just accept it. But somehow the Italians received it, take it as very rude. So very rude and hypocritical. So that's why I was actually rebuked, and I told them that, in Southeast Asia, in Asia where we live, no is actually yes. No is actually yes. Yeah. So that's one of the culture shocks that I experienced there.
From my own experience, the culture shock that I experienced is that they are very polite there, in the sense of, when you cross streets in Wikarsa, people don't really give you, like, cars don't stop for you.
Oh yeah.
And like you have to like
use the magic hand. Use the magic hand.
Or you get like
you'll get crashed.
You'll get crashed.
Yeah, we get it.
But there, the people there, they live like a slow life, so they are never in a hurry. They are never in a rush. So pedestrians are very respected there. So if you want to cross a street, they will actually like stop without you having to like raise your hands or like wait. They'll just actually stop and patiently wait for you to cross the street. And that's a very different from Jakarta, because I'm very afraid when it comes to crossing the street. But there it's very safe.
I think my experience is that I realized that Koreans are very, how to say this, orderly. They are very strict with rules. So my experience is that I think it's the same with Alan. So here, if you want to cross the street, you have to use the hand, and there you have to wait for the green light, to say, okay, you can cross now. And the cars, they'll stop. They won't just go, even if there's no pedestrian, they'll stop. That's what I see. And also, if you want to go to like a public transport, I mean, in Indonesia, we don't really see people waiting in line, right? In an orderly line, that is.
Rarely.
Yeah, rarely, very rarely. Yeah, in Korea, they wait. They have a booth for the bus stop, for example, and they'll wait in line. So they don't need people telling them that. They don't need people being there and tell them to wait in line. They just do it, and yeah, that's kind of like a culture shock for me.
The word is